good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Wealthy Wednesdays from My Turn to Own. My name is Shanaze, and I'm here to let you know what the rules are for this evening. So, first and foremost, everyone will start on mute. Everyone be muted upon entry. And once, if you do have any questions or concerns, please feel free to put that in the chat box. Or if you would like to speak, please raise your hand. We'll be more than happy to call on you. And then you have about 10 seconds to say what you have to say, and then you're going back on mute. So without further ado, Miss Christie.
Thank you, Ms. Shanaze. Hi, I'm Chrissy with My Turn to Own. And here we are a nationwide initiative to increase the home ownership rate to 75% for all. Some of the things that we offer here is micro mortgages, credit remediation, credit builder loans, courses and events like tonight, Wealthy Wednesday, and agent matching. Without further ado, I want to make sure that you have pens and paper available to address any questions or concerns. With that, I'm going to bring Ms. Africa Porter on the line.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Shanaze, and thank you, Ms. Chrissy, for those very welcoming introductions and announcements. And thank all of you for tuning in with us on tonight and investing in yourselves. Tonight is going to be a little different. It is more about you all tonight. What does that mean? That means you all are able to comment and raise questions. There are no questions that are not, appropriate. Please ask all the questions you have based on your situation, what you're comfortable with talking about on tonight's call. We welcome all of your questions and comments. We have two presenters that will be taking your questions and comments tonight. Without further ado, let's welcome them. They are Ms. Janice and Ms. Deborah. Welcome and thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Miss Deborah and also Miss Simmons, can you introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about what you do, and we're going to get this party started.
Okay, so my name is Deborah Schleger. I work for Associated Bank. I've been in the mortgage industry for 41 years. I started as a processor and worked my way in many fields, ran a branch, and now I'm back to originating mortgages. And my clientele is all first-time home buyers, at least 99% first-time home buyers.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janie Simmons. I am the Vice President of Community and Housing Services at the Far South CDC. We have a HUD-approved housing counseling agency underneath our umbrella. We do housing counseling for first-time home buyers, for renters, for current homeowners. So we do things like emergency rental assistance, emergency mortgage assistance, but in the case of working with My Turn to Own, we help people to become mortgage ready so that they can move on to people like Deborah to go on to own their first home. Thanks for inviting me.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Quick question for you, Miss Africa. What would you like to go now?
I want to open it up so that those who are attending can ask questions and, speak to both of our guests tonight.
Miss Irons, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Great, great. Did you have any questions about the HUD process and what it looks like? Please feel free to ask Ms. Simmons if you have any questions.
So one question would be, how long have you all been HUD approved?
Our agency is a community development corporation that houses a HUD-approved agency that's been around since the 70s. So what's that? Whatever the math is for that. They've been HUD approved since the 70s. It was formerly known as Genesis Housing. Now it's a program of Far South CDC, Genesis at Far South CDC.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I had a question for Ms. Deborah.
Yes,
Ms. Deborah, do you all deal with bankruptcies?
yes, we do.
What does that process look like? I know when you're dealing with Chapter 7, it's 2 years.
Well, with Chapter 7, which is a full bankruptcy, everything is wiped out. 2 years on an FHA, a government loan, 4 years for a conventional mortgage, discharged.
Got
Now,
you.
FHA will accept if you have extenuating circumstances and it hasn't been 2 years, you still, as long as you have the paperwork, the documentation, you can get a mortgage. Like I had a client, they had medical issues and they couldn't work and they were, severe. They overcame them, but they could get a mortgage on FHA before the 2-year discharge.
Wow, that's impressive. One more question for you. So say if now, does the 2 years in the same industry still apply even with everything that's going on with COVID?
On a job,
Yes, ma'am.
employment, no.
Okay.
No, because everybody's like, well, here, every lender might tell you their guidelines are different, but yes, there's other guidelines also because of COVID too. Like we have to call and make sure the buyer 10 days prior is still working at their same employer. I mean, that was with every loan, but now they're strict about it. You have to sign a piece of paper at closing stating that you don't know, that you have no knowledge that your company's going to close, your hours are going to be cut, you're going to be laid off due to COVID. So no. And also another on just the 2-year job, if you were in college and you graduated and you really didn't work during college and you just started a job in the profession that you have your degree, we will take that regardless of that it's not a 2-year. If you just got hired and you have the offer letter, we will take that but we won't close. You have to have a 30 days worth of paycheck stubs before we'll let you close.
Okay, so let me get this right. Because usually it's 2 years tax return.
Correct.
2 years tax return, 2 years in the same industry.
Right.
And also, what was the third one? Of course, have to have a job, I'm guessing. Yeah, I think those are the 3 elements. So say if, and I just want clarity, say if you've been working a job, mind you, during COVID, nobody was working. Everybody's laid off.
Hospitality. Here's the big one, hospitality. People that were in the hospitality industry that worked in hotels and restaurants, they didn't work anymore because of COVID. So then they went into another profession. And they might only be in that profession for 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to write a letter of explanation. I'm going to help them that because of COVID, I'm no longer in this industry, because truly a lot of people still are not in that industry.
Wow.
And now they have a new job. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But let me add to that. We do not accept, and people are like, well, I have 2 part-time jobs. They will not accept 2 part-time jobs unless we can show that prior that you've always had a part-time job. So sometimes people might have a full-time job and then they say, well, I'm going to buy a house. Let me get another job. I'll work part-time. We cannot count part-time income unless you've been on that part-time job for 2 years.
Got you. Okay. Got you. Now, what are you all doing with refinancing? Do you all do refinancing as well?
Yes. We'll refinance.
Where you can pull equity out.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Great,
you can pull 80% of the value. So whatever the LTV, you can pull out cash. Owner occupied. It gets a little bit tougher and the rules are tougher on non-owner occupied properties, but owner occupied, yes.
So you do 1 of 4 units, of course.
Correct.
Or you all do commercial too.
We do commercial. I don't do commercial, but my bank does commercial. Restaurant, commercial buildings, mixed use, yes.
Okay. Great. Sounds good.
So don't think because you went from one field to another field that you cannot get approved.
Okay.
No, it's just the part-time job. If you just started it and it's less than 2 years and you don't have any showing that you had part-time jobs prior, we cannot use that income from the part-time job.
Okay. Got you. I didn't want to hog the space. I could ask you a million questions all night. Is that Deborah on the line as well? I got Deborah on the line. I got Miss Irons on the line. I have Shanaze on the line. Miss Africa on the. Okay, great. Did any of the staff have any questions?
I have a question for Ms. Simmons. How are you all, can you talk a little bit about like your, this is a personal question, like your file keeping system, have you all moved electronic to make things easier for clients? Can you kind of talk about the protocols that have been in place to still reach out for that client engagement, to say that there are other ways than the face-to-face accessibility, I should say?
Sure. Most of our work is done electronically now. There are a few people who just don't have the capability or the computers or internet. And so we do allow people to come in from time to time, but especially since the pandemic, almost all of our files are 100% electronic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a Miss Simmons. You know what I've noticed? It's a take me through the process of getting HUD certified, and why are the paperwork that being requested? Why is this so important?
So first, the organization is HUD approved, and the counselors are HUD certified. The student actually gets a certificate that says that they've gotten education. So they're not necessarily certified after they finish a class. It just shows the bank, the lenders, that they've had some education, especially after all the foreclosures and stuff. It's very important to lenders to know that you as a buyer are aware of the promise that you're making to the bank to pay this mortgage, that's a promissory note. And so they want to know that you're educated, you understand what makes up the mortgage, the principal, the mortgage, the principal, the insurance, the taxes, the interest. They want to make sure that you understand the paperwork and what you're signing. They want to make sure that you understand what you need to gather for them also in terms of paperwork, so that they'll know that you're in a better position to purchase than someone who's walking in off the street without having the education. So our counselors will collect the information and talk with you one-on-one about your specific situation, find the bank that is most closely matched to you. And for instance, if you do have that lower credit score, then we wouldn't send you to a bank that requires a higher credit score. So they know that if you get this certificate that you've had some education and that you're more than likely understanding what it takes to keep your home. Once you become a client of a HUD approved agency, as I said earlier, we do rental, post-purchase, foreclosure prevention. You have a relationship with us. So if you have any troubles, the lender knows that you have someone on your side that can help you through the situation, so they don't have to worry about their money as much.
Got you. And that's another question I was going to ask for Ms. Deborah, because some banks may say that this HUD certification doesn't mean anything to us, but some banks may say, okay, you're HUD certified. That's an amazing thing. When someone brings a HUD certification to you, when you see it, what in your mind, what's turning?
Well, we need the HUD certification in order to get any grant money. So if you want to get any money, any grants that my bank might have, or grants that are out there in the city of Chicago, we need that certification to show you attended that class. We have to have that because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and even some FHA require that HUD certification to know that you had the education.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Got you. Okay. Does anybody, I see someone else trying to jump in. Let's see. All right. I see Miss Thomas. Is it Georgia Leslie Thomas? Let's try to unmute. Can someone unmute? Ask to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing, Miss Thompson? I apologize.
That's okay. I'm doing well.
So
doing
tonight
well.
is you know, it's around holiday time. So we were going to cancel tonight, but I wanted to have something. We wanted to have something for those who had did all their cooking and everything, you know, early. Because some people really they need that consistency of every week, no matter if it's a holiday or what. I didn't want to break that spirit. But tonight we're just doing question and answers. So did you have any questions? I have Miss Deborah. She's been in the real estate industry for 150 years. And was that 241?
Thanks.
Was it 41? And I have Miss Simmons from the from HUD. So if you have any questions, please feel free, whether it's grants or how to purchase a home, what the process looks like, what the lending
Well,
process.
here's the thing. I have completed step 1 and 2. So I'm in the process of doing, finishing up sending them paperwork. I have sent them most of everything that I have, besides getting on there, sending in my credit report. But they sent me a link to send it in, so I'm preparing for that. Which this will be my first time as a first-time home buyer. But I've been renting a home now for 3 years, and it's not what I want in life. I'd rather have my own.
Okay.
So I just need help to be detoured into the right direction. That's all.
Okay, so go ahead, and whoever wants to take that question.
Well, I heard what you're saying. I'm assuming that you're talking about you're taking the classes with a HUD approved agency, and that's great.
Correct.
Great. So a lot of people take the process in the wrong order. They go straight to Redfin and start shopping because they have a good job and they want to go buy a house, right? But preparing is definitely number one. And if you sit through the class, then you know who your home buying team is. And if you have any questions about working with a realtor, I can help with that as well. But definitely understanding your buying power is first. Deborah at Associated Bank does not want a bunch of people walking into her office or calling her who aren't prepared financially or don't have the what is the word? All of the requirements, all the requirements that she would need. So when you work with a HUD approved agency, we know, especially when we work with the banks closely, like Associated Bank, then we know what some of their requirements are, and we can help you to get ready for that. So you're definitely doing the right thing. And after your counselor finds that you are meeting your goals and at the point that you should go to a lender, they know what the lender's looking for. And so if they find that you're at that point where it's a good time to go to the lender, then your step shouldn't be to Redfin, it should be to the lender to find out how much you can afford. Then a realtor, hopefully, then run for Redfin.
Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Can I ask you a question, Miss Deborah?
Yes.
You know what? I've heard of people that's trying to get into crowdfunding, right? And I guess when you're dealing with crowdfunding, of course, you're dealing with let's just say crowdfunding, but it doesn't have to be necessarily that, platform. Let's say 5 people or 6 people or 10 people wants to come together and buy a commercial property, and utilize all of their credit scores, utilizing all of their income, and utilizing whatever down payment they come in as a whole, where they're signed off on the same project. Is that pretty much the process, or is
Nope.
there a cap of how many?
Wrong. Commercial financing is totally different than 1 to 4 residential. So
Gotcha.
truly, you might come in with your credit score and money and stuff, but we want to see that commercial building you're buying can pay for itself. We don't want to look that you have to dig into your pocket to make the payment on that. We want to see, like, let's say a 6-unit building. We want to see that the rentals, because that's commercial, that those rentals can make your mortgage payment. Not that you have to go in to your pocket, any of the owners, and make the payment. So
Got it.
commercial is different as opposed to 1 to 4 unit. 1 to 4 unit, we want to see, or let's just say 1 unit. We want to see that you can make that mortgage payment, other than any of the multi-unit where we use rental to help you. But commercial, we don't, it's totally different than 1 to 4
Resident.
unit qualifying. Yes.
Now, is there a cap on how many people can come together and buy a home or a property or multi-unit? Even if the math shows a profit, is there a cap on how many people?
On
that can sign?
commercial or
Yes,
no?
ma'am. Okay.
No, but you got to be careful. You don't want to get all these people and buy a property with somebody, because what happens if say you all are going to contribute
Yeah.
and then you have a falling out, how are you going to get that person off of the mortgage once they sign the docs?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes that's tricky. You might be friends, but at the end of it, you might not be friends anymore, and you own a building together.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Kim Troop on the line.
Yes, I am.
How you
Good
doing,
to see
Kim?
y'all. I'm great. How you know me?
Good. I see your name right here.
Because I'm here. Okay.
First, I want to say happy holidays.
Thank you, and same to you.
And thank you for joining us. Tonight is a little bit different. We're just taking random questions. Do you have any questions? We have, like I repeat what I was saying earlier. Ms. Deborah has been in the real estate industry for 40 plus years. And we also have Ms. Simmons here from HUD. Is there any questions that you may have for us? I'm sorry, you're on mute. I apologize. Can we unmute Miss Kim, please?
Now unmute me. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Okay. I just tuned in, so I'm just listening in
Okay, sounds good.
to
Sounds like
see
you
what's
have.
going on.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I'm always enjoying Jamal Green. I just love him. I wish that was my son. I got a
Yes,
son that's 30 years old. He don't even know this though. But I said, I just want to touch him one day.
yes, ma'am.
I just love what he do in the community. I really do. I love what he do for the people, for our community. And I just love everything that he does. I love his heart. He has a good spirit. So that's why I'm on here. I just bought a house in Oswego, but I follows him and he don't even know I follows him. So
Wow.
that's why I'm
Wow.
here.
That's beautiful. And thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. And if you have
Yeah.
any questions, please feel free to ask tonight.
But I gave my son you guys link because he's looking into buying a home, and I told him to go on there to my turn to own to fill out the form. Now, do you guys only do homes in the Chicago West Side and South Side?
In Chicago area, I'm gonna tell you something. Wherever it is, this is the way we work. We're a community within a community. So, I mean, we're licensed in 49 states. But if there's an agent that is not licensed outside of Illinois, they have a strong community of relationships where they can send you to somebody that's vetted, that can help you look for a property, or even if it's someone, a different mortgage company, we may have to send you to that can close you in another state. We're all about a platform of information. So we can
No,
get
what
you
I was saying, I'm sorry, what I was saying, it is in Illinois. I was just saying it's not on the West Side and South Side, like somewhere in Naperville or something. Do you guys?
Oh yeah, you'll be fine. Yes, ma'am. You'll be
Okay,
fine.
okay. So I'll let my
Yeah.
son know that. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Please
That's
do.
it.
No problem at all. Miss Megan Johnson. How you
Good
doing, Miss
evening.
Johnson? Is Miss Johnson still there?
This is me. Good evening.
How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Happy holidays and all that good stuff. Tonight we're doing things a little different. We're just taking some questions. Did you have any questions about the HUD process, or did you have any questions about the mortgage process?
Yes, I actually signed up to join you guys. I think it's debt cleanse
Okay.
program, and then before I even signed up for that program, I started paying off a lot of things on my credit, and I think I did it the wrong way, even though I was paying stuff off in full. And it's like I wanted to know, because it's like it's taken a while for me to see my credit score go up. Is that normal, or is it something that it once you pay it, it's supposed to go up like immediately within the next 30 days? How does that work?
Not necessarily what people, so let me tell you what the process is. The process is you want to do two things. You want to dispute and take things off your credit at the same time as you building your credit. And this is what I mean by building your credit, because once you take everything off your credit, that's not going to shoot your credit score up if you don't have anything foundational to boost it up. So, and then you get into the trickery of how do I get credit and I'm not, and I don't want to say worthy of credit. That's not what I'm trying to say, but how do I get credit and nobody trusts me with credit? Because the last thing you want to do is go around and just, around the holiday season, they're like, get this card, get this credit card. And you just like playing Russian roulette. Okay, whoever give me something, I'll take it. But then when you're done, you got 1 million inquiries. And that has also decreased your credit score. So you want to look at different apps like self-app, credit builder apps. You can look at, I forgot the name of it. You may know more, Ms. Deborah, when you get when you go to the banks and you say, hey, I want to get a loan against my money. I forgot the name of that, where you say, I'm going to
collateral against your money.
It's like you open up an account. It's a credit builder where
credit builder accounts.
Yeah,
but the credit builder, you can't take the money out of it. It's like a loan, and then they send you a bill and you pay it every month, and then at the end, say it's $1,000. At the end, you get the $1,000, but it reports every month to your credit as if you have a loan with them.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it reports to all 3 credit bureaus. So you want things but it's not going to give you a hard hit. You don't want anything that's going to give you hard inquiry. And if it does give you, a lot of time when you get hard inquiries and you're not up to par where your credit score is concerned, now you got a hard inquiry and you didn't get the credit card. So you may want to stick to things like secure credit cards, where you may have to, if you have a bank account with Bank of America or whomever, you say, hey, what's your secure credit card process looks like? So if I give you $500, I could get a secure credit card. And now with that secure credit card, over time, they'll give you an increase, but you're getting an increase with a major bank. So that's the point that I'm making. You want to look at, like I always tell people, self-app. Self-app is an app, you can YouTube it and Google it, but it's $25 a month. You know what I'm saying? Something small, but it's going to be reporting. It's not about how much are you paying monthly. It's about the consistency of something being paid monthly and reporting to all 3 credit bureaus. I don't know if I answered your question. I'm so sorry.
May I also,
and then can I add to that too?
Sure, please do.
She said that she's paying everything off. Well, and that we should dispute everything. So first of all, if you dispute, before you apply for the loan, you have to resolve that dispute. It can't show dispute on your credit when you go for a mortgage. You have to resolve it. So you have to, if you did it online, you have to go back online and put dispute resolved. Second, if you have collections, do not pay off a collection, because what happens is the credit report, the credit bureaus, it doesn't determine on your credit report that you paid it off and now it's going to increase your score. It hits your credit as if a collection came back on. Plus, half the time when we run your loan through the automated system, it comes back and tells us you do not have to pay off any of those collections. So we tell everyone, do not pay the collections, because I know some agencies tells them, oh yeah, pay this off. Do not pay it off. If it needs to be paid off, we'll tell you once we go through the process with you. And then as far as paying everything off, don't pay everything off. Your score is not going to increase. They tell you, pay it so you only have a third left of whatever the credit limit is and what you owe on it. And also a trick of the trade is, if you don't have a lot of credit cards and you have never gotten, you haven't asked for a credit increase, okay? Capital One does this all the time. If you've had a credit card with Capital One for 2 years, you can call them. They can look at your credit without a hard hit and tell you, yes, we're going to increase your credit, your line of credit. You can ask them, and you can ask them, is this a hard hit if you give me a higher credit limit? They'll tell you yes or no. If they say no, and we can increase it, by all means take it, because if you owed half of what your limit is, say you owed 500 and your limit's 1,000, but now they're going to give you an increase to 2,000, you don't have to pay anything down because now you're below the level.
Wow, that's great information. Great information.
That makes perfect sense. And I wish that I had spoken with you all before.
Yeah.
Because see, I actually went through the process and paid all of my collections off.
Wow.
So I don't
Wow.
owe anything
I
at
just
all.
like to say that it is individualized because some people just don't have any credit. Other people just aren't paying on time. Other people need to increase their credit limit. So you should be talking to someone to look at your individual situation and guide you and advise you about yours. Because just simply getting new credit or paying off collections will not always work for anyone.
Yeah. And then the sad part about it is a lot of times it shows up, it reports now it's settled. And now that it sits as settled, you know, some lenders, and it doesn't have to be a mortgage lender, but some people, you know, some lenders may frown upon that. So that's another problem. But one thing I do say is, please, have you been, what all do you all provide? Do you all provide anything to help them with HUD that may have issues with reviewing their credit and teaching them how to review their credit, Ms. Simmons?
Yeah, my organization is HUD approved. I don't work for HUD. Our organization is approved by HUD, meaning that we have met all of their guidelines, et cetera.
Yes, ma'am.
I work for the Far South CDC, and our program is called Genesis. So yes, we have a financial coaching and wealth building course. And every time you start working with a counselor, they look at your individual situation, and then you sit and you make a plan, and you devise goals, and they will actually act as your accountability partner. So if you say you want to get your credit score boosted by X number of points, they will show you the things that work best for you to get to that point. They'll work with you to get there, and then they'll call you, check on you, have you report back to them until you get those goals met, and then move on to the lender.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the one thing I like about you all, Ms. Simmons, is there's so many questions on the journey of becoming a homeowner, and the fact that you all have everything in-house to educate us on the process and also equipped us with the tools necessary and set us up for success. I will tell everyone.
My screen is freezing, so I'm missing something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it me? Is it me freezing? I apologize. But I would tell everyone to go through you all's program just to educate themselves on the basics of credit, the basics of what's next. Because when you're starting off as a first-time home buyer, it's the road. When you don't know what you don't know, it's hard. And it's discouraging, and it's frustrating, and you feel like you're in it by yourself, and you feel like there's no support system, and then you turn around again, oh my God, it's something else, and everything seems like the end of the world. But when you're with somebody that can guide you, it makes the process easier for everyone. Even it makes the process easier for the individual, the lenders. So when you get to the lenders, you don't want to get to the lenders and you don't know what you're talking about, and then the lender feel bad for writing up a loan for you, because like, this person has no idea what they're getting themselves into. So
well, the lender shouldn't do that, write you up a loan if you don't know. They shouldn't. They need to educate you. So if they come to me and say, I have this, this, and this, I'm not going to do a hard credit pull on them. I'm going to send them to Janice and say, here, you go to the non-for-profit first. Yeah, that is the best way. Then let me review everything once we have it. Never do a hard credit pull. Never.
Yeah, that's true. And that's another thing. People don't know the difference between hard credit pulls and soft credit pulls. So when you're out here looking for, you're allowing people to pull your credit back to those are questions that you really need to ask. I see Mr. Martin on the line. Thank you, Mr. Martin Torres, for jumping on with My Turn to Own. We really appreciate you, man. I know it's after hours. So any other questions that we have on the line tonight? Because I'm not going to hold this until 6 o'clock. I'm going to allow everyone to enjoy their holiday. And I know it's been a long night for everyone because I'm just getting off work not too long ago.
Miss Chrissy here, I have a question.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll just use myself as example. What products or programs do you have available for individuals that are not first-time home buyers?
So not first-time home buyers, okay, my bank, we do have down payment assistance. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer. It's $4,000 free, forgiven at closing, grant money. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer. It just has to be owner occupied. So what you're purchasing, you have to live in that property. Plus, in order to get those funds, you have to qualify by your income. So it needs to be, your income needs to be 80% of the median income, which depending on what county where you purchase, it's around $65,000. And again, to get this money, because a lot of grants that are other than our bank, because this is our own bank loan, a lot of other grants, they that money is the whole household income. So we don't take the whole household. We might take just the one buyer, and if they can qualify for that mortgage and they want to put their husband, wife, whoever, they can go on just the title. Plus, we have other programs. You know, if you're not a first-time home buyer, you cannot put 3% down. That's one thing though. If you own a property now, the minimum down then is 5% on a single family home. And then depending on how,
5% is great.
Wait,
yeah,
hold on.
5%.
That's what I was saying. I think I missed something. Are you talking about for as an investor, as a second property?
No. What if they own a condo and they want to move out of a condo and get another house because the condo's too small? No, as long as what they're purchasing, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. As long as what they're purchasing is going to be owner occupied. Investment is totally different.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
If you're an investor, the cheapest way to go with the least down payment, but you have to owner occupy it. Most investment properties, you have to put 25% down. Now, if you go FHA, but you have to live in the property, FHA is only 3.5% down on 1 to 4 unit buildings.
Okay. Got you. But you know what? The 5% isn't bad either. I wasn't saying. I just thought you were saying something else. But yeah.
Yeah, no,
okay.
5% if you have already owned a property, or if you owned a property, sold it, have rented, you still can put 5% down and be a owner occupied. You just can't put 3%. 3% is only for first time home buyers.
Got you.
But
Now,
after 3 years, is that still first time home buyer, Deborah, if they haven't been on the mortgage for 3 years?
Correct. If you haven't owned in the last 3 years, you're considered a first time home buyer. Yep.
listen. So if you haven't owned or if you haven't purchased, and I know it sounds.
What do you mean owned or purchased?
Okay,
so if you're on the title with somebody, you have ownership.
Okay. All right. Got you. All right. Got you. I'm soaking up everything you're saying like a sponge.
Yeah. So some people are like, well, I don't own it, but my mom put me on the title. Why? Because now you can't get the benefits of a first time home buyer.
Got you.
Because you have ownership in a property, regardless that you don't have to pay the mortgage, you still have ownership.
Got you. All right. Listen.
Does that still apply if you buy a property and sell it?
No. If you buy a property and sell it, you can't put 3%. You can't put 3% unless you haven't owned in the last 3 years. So if you haven't owned in the last 3 years, say you have a property and you sold it 3 years ago and now you want to buy something, you'd be considered a first time home buyer again because it's been over 3 years.
Got you.
And then one last question I have, how would I sign up for the program that Miss, I think Janice was speaking about? I think that's her name.
The HUD certification?
Yes.
Miss Simmons can give you that information. Are you there, Miss
Someone
Simmons?
just dropped it in the chat a little while ago.
Yeah, that was me. Between myself and Shanae, we've included the link for next month.
Our next class is December 11th. So sign up for that. We always do the full workshop first so that you understand how everything works, who your home buying team is, and what to expect during the process from start to closing. And then you're assigned to a individual counselor who will look at your credit, talk to you about your budget, work with any challenges you have, and get you ready to go to the lender.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Miss, is it, I don't want to mess up.
Jamila,
Jones. Yeah, Jones.
Miss Jamila Jones. And then there was also one more person, Miss Candy A. They joined
Okay.
us.
Let's take Jones and see if she may have a question, and I think we're gonna close it out there.
And then I just see
And
Miss
I think
Thompson.
Thomas. Yeah, I think Miss Thompson has a question too, and we're gonna close it out there.
No, I don't have any questions.
You don't? Okay, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you and happy holidays.
Same to you. Is there any way this is going to be recorded? Because I missed majority of it. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Yes, ma'am, it is. And we're going to upload it to our YouTube. So you can look at our YouTube, My Turn to Own. If we can drop the link tree down in the comments for Ms. Jones, that'll be great as well. But tonight it was just an open dialogue about questions, because we always, set up a platform to teach, but we just wanted to open up, for anyone to ask any questions that may have random, because we have a lender on the line. So please feel free.
Thank you.
And Ms. Thompson, do you have any questions before we close out? I guess not. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right, listen, sounds great.
I've attended, this is Miss Thompson. I did
Okay.
attend, I'm sorry, I just got unmuted.
Okay.
I did attend the last certification class, and I did send in information that they asked me for, and I thought I sent in with the credit report wise, whatever. But they did send me back 2 links to redo the credit history thing. Okay, so I figure I'll sit down and do that sometime tonight or probably tomorrow while I'm not doing anything, looking at everybody eat. But yeah, I figured that I will do that. But my next thing after I get that done, how do I get in touch with the person so I could do the one-on-one far as going look at the property? I know I'm supposed to go. I got a ticket for the 4th. I did get that to go on the trolley thing. I did that as well. But I'm still kind of lost a little bit. I know I need to save, but I still want to talk to someone one-on-one so I can really get the full benefit that y'all have to offer of understanding of being a first-time home buyer.
Or they collect the documents so that they'll have a better picture of who you are as an individual, and then they can talk to you more specifically about your situation. So
Okay.
once the counselor gets your documents, your credit score, whatever they've requested from you, they will contact you by a Zoom meeting like this or a phone call. If it's taking a minute and you're concerned, you can always email back the email that your link came from and ask about, the timing. But they will definitely talk to you one-on-one about what they see from what you've sent in, and they'll listen to you to see what your plans are and set some goals with you from there, and you'll be able to ask them questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Listen, I want to say a special thanks for everyone who has sacrificed their time on Thanksgiving Eve, because I know it's time for everyone to really, be with their families. I really appreciate each and every one of you all. Miss Deborah You are truly the bomb.com. Ms. Simmons, I can't thank you enough for always going above and beyond on the behalf of My Turn to Own. Everyone, please hug, love your families, even the ones that you all, got problems with. Love and hug them tomorrow too. Have a great holiday and a holiday weekend, and I'm sure we'll see you again next Wednesday. Happy holidays to everyone, and good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hope you have a good
Happy holidays.